wanted to share the story of the wise men who came to visit Jesus. It's a story that only appears in Matthew, but I'm so grateful that it came, not because I got to be a wise man when I was a child, but because it gives us an unbroken thread that connects us from the past Old Testament promise to the New Testament fulfillment. It's an incredible story, and it's all wrapped up in these 12 verses. It's just remarkable. Jesus was born in the town of Bethlehem in the land of Judah during the time when Herod was king. Soon afterwards, some men who studied the stars came from the east to Jerusalem, and they asked, "Where is the baby born to be King of the Jews? We saw his star when it came up in the east, and we have come to worship him." When King Herod heard about this, he was very upset, and so was everybody else in Jerusalem. He called together all the chief priests and the teachers of the law and asked them, "Where will the Messiah be born?" "In the town of Bethlehem in Judah," they said. "This is what the prophet wrote. You, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, you are by any means the least among the rulers of Judah. For from you will come a leader who will guide your people, my people, Israel." So Herod called the visitors from the east to a secret meeting and found out from them the exact time the star had appeared. Then he sent them to Bethlehem with these instructions: "Go and make a careful search for the child, and when you find him, let me know so that I may go and worship him too." With this, they left, and on their way, they saw the star, the same one they had seen in the east, and it went ahead of them until it came and stopped over the place where the child was. How happy they were! What gladness they felt when they saw the star. They went into the house, saw the child with his mother Mary. They knelt down and worshiped him. Then they opened their bags and offered him presents or gifts: gold, frankincense, and myrrh. God warned them in a dream not to go back to Herod, so they went back home by another way. Well, it is a remarkable story because it talks about gifting. It talks about gifting, in this case, to the one who has been promised to the people of Israel, has been promised to us as we too have heard the story, and that in every way, Christmas Eve happens every year because every year we are reminded that God fulfilled the promise to give us light in the midst of darkness. And that promise has been fulfilled every time someone discovers that their darkness can be made light again, their sin can be forgiven, their life can be made whole because of this gift. So I ask myself, and I ask you to think of this as well, what is in a gift? What's in a gift? The dictionary tells us that a gift is the following, and I found this fascinating. It is anything given willingly to someone without payment from the receiver. I'll say that again. Is anything given willingly to someone without payment from the receiver? No, we say to ourselves, wait a minute. We expect when we give gifts that people will at least record it so we can get credit and deduct it from our taxes. That's important. Or we say to ourselves, if we give a gift to someone, the very least that we expect is they say, thank you. And then sometimes we say, well, I'm going to give a gift, but I surely expect I'll get one back. And that happens all too often when we send out cards. If we've sent out a card last year and then we didn't get one back, we say, no, I don't know if I should send one this year. We go through that struggle. Are they dead? Are they not interested anymore, or can't they afford a card? Well, I don't know. So is a gift something that is given to someone willingly without the expectation of payment in return? Well, these past few weeks have been filled with gift purchasing and gift wrapping and gift giving and gift receiving. One of our grandchildren went online and she figured out how to draw and order a picture of Copper Mountain where we ski. And so she did all the runs down that mountain, and there's this image that she had created, and that was her gift to us. And at the bottom was a little red star, which indicated where we had stayed, that we all just loved and would go back again repeatedly. And I said to Haley when I got it, I said, where are all the places I fell? Well, she said, I didn't know where they were, so they're not part of that gift. It was a wonderful gift, and we were grateful to receive it. It was a gift of love on her part to us. Others in our family, I think, gave unusual gifts to one another, and they did them, I think, because they thought deeply about the person who would receive it, and knowing that they would welcome the gift, we were all grateful in the giving. But we remember that the reason we were there because of the birth of Jesus, the reason we are together as a family celebrating on Christmas Day, even with broom ball and with watching a Packer football game and having great food that we all brought to share with one another, and gifts that had been given, received, and thank yous were expressed. We knew that we were there as a family celebrating on that day, not because it was a holiday, not because it happened to be a Saturday that was free, but because Jesus had been born. God had fulfilled that gift to us. Now think about it. A gift is given to someone. It is given to someone. So we give gifts, whatever they may be. Sometimes the gift is as simple as a smile. And as the pandemic becomes a little bit more comfortable for us, that we might truly be safe and shaking a hand or giving a hug, we give that gift. We give gifts that sometimes include dropping off some canned goods or some dry goods into a box that is present to be taken later on to the food pantry so that it might be distributed. We give those gifts. Sometimes we give a gift by saying to someone, oh, I only have a few items. Why don't you go first? You have so many. Or they say to us, you only have a few items. Why don't you go first through the line? Or the gift that we give is sometimes reminding someone that they, as they made change, they gave us too much money, and you give it back. The gift is a gift. It's given to someone. What makes that gift special is that the receiver is another person, is another human like us, is another person living life as creatively and with as much imagination as they're capable of or have been inspired to live it. So the gift is given to another person, and it is given, it is extended, it is offered. And by the way, it is offered willingly. That is to say, when we give willingly. And I trust no one gives begrudgingly. I trust no one gives because they feel obligated. I hope that no one gives because they feel guilty. I pray indeed that no one gives because if they think if I don't give, I'm going to commit a terrible sin. I must say, when I walk by the bell ringers for the Salvation Army, and I've given on many occasions, and then when I walk by again, I realize I've given already, and I don't have any change. Or when the Lions Club is selling something that they would like us to buy, I want to do it, but I don't have any money loose in my pocket, and I feel a somewhat pang of guilt that I'm not giving again. That's not the reason to give. I've said over and over again, one of the reasons we give on Sunday, one of the reasons we send our contribution to a charity, one of the reasons we offer our gift, we offer it willingly because we have discovered that we are richly blessed. Richly blessed. It is as if we have been touched on the head and the message has come to you and to me. You are blessed. You are blessed. Well, we give. I don't want anyone to give because they are angry or hostile or guilty or shamed. I want you to give because you want to, willingly, lovingly, as an expression of appreciation for God's gifts to you. Now, those gifts are given without any expectation of anything being returned. Imagine God who says, I got to do something. I've got to do something to convince these folk. The law didn't seem to work. I mean, they are chafing under the law. They can't possibly live by all those rules. They're going to break them all the time. And sure enough, someone's going to call attention to that. Well, Jesus demonstrated that. So the law said you can't work on the Sabbath. You must not work on the Sabbath. Keep it holy. And there's Jesus plucking grain on the Sabbath. And then he sees someone who needs to receive his blessing with healing, and he heals on the Sabbath. And those who said you have to live by the law said, what are you doing? And Jesus pointed out the Sabbath is a special time indeed. It is a time for us to take time to worship and give thanks and to pause. At the same time, the Sabbath is also made that we might be able to recognize others' needs, and we give to them what they need because that's who we are as God's people. Now, I've paraphrased it, obviously. So imagine this God who says, I've got to do something. The law didn't work, and all those prophets who tried to scare them, that didn't seem to work. I mean, if they didn't behave, the nation was going to fall. Sure enough, it fell, and they continued to behave badly. And then they realized they had made a mistake, and they asked for forgiveness, and we rebuilt the nation. And then they got sinful again, and so that didn't work. And the simplest statement from the prophet Micah was, look, you don't have to give offerings. You don't have to give sheep and goats and tons and tons of grain away. You don't even have to give your own body to please God. What you need to do is live justly. Be kind to one another, seek kindness and humbleness, and then walk humbly with your God. Be a partner with your God in bringing about God's kingdom here in your midst. They seem not to listen. And so what God, I think, said to all of the universe, I've got to do something spectacular, remarkable. I've got to love. I've got to love by being sacrificial. And so Jesus is born. Jesus lives, he grows up, he's wise, he's incredibly intelligent. He has this gift that comes as a result of the Spirit being present in his life. And he does remarkable things. And I suspect, in fact, I think it is one of the theologians who suggested that it may well have been that God had intended people to follow Jesus. And do the very things that God had wanted them to do. Well, they didn't. They killed him. They killed him. So this theologian thinks, that's the way you love. You give of yourself sacrificially that you might indeed be saved. So we are told that God is not demanding from us because of that, but God is saying to us, because of that, you have a way of knowing how to live joyfully. You know now how to offer to one who has gone to his death to save your life, that if you embrace that life will be wonderfully joyful. And you will sing on top of the mountain with a loud voice, Jesus Christ was born this day. That is the gift that we have received. It is the gift that we give as we live thoughtfully and faithfully responding to the good news that has come to us. Be thankful and give joyfully the gift of your life through service and the building of God's kingdom. Amen. I may share as a brief prayer. John Bunyan said, "You have not lived today until you have done something for someone who can never repay you." And Frank said, "No one has ever become poor by giving." Charles Dickens said, "No one is useless in this world who lightens the burden of another." Those are our gifts. May we embrace them and give them joyfully. Amen.